Hey everyone, Razbowski here, and welcome back to another Five Nights at Freddy's 3 information and speculation video. Today we're going to be talking about something that we haven't really touched on. So, over the weekend I've been having a little look back over all the information that we've had so far and all of the screenshots, and there's one in particular that we haven't really talked a great deal about. Now, if we have a look at the system restart menu on the screen right now, we will see audio devices, camera system, and ventilation. And now all of these have errors. We have covered audio devices, what we think will happen there. We've covered the camera system, which is pretty much going to be very similar as before, but ventilation, we haven't really covered this subject. We've touched on it here and there, but not really in depth. So today I want to talk about that. There's a couple of things that, a couple of theories that I have that might work in what this is going to be. So, having a look around the trailer, or having a look around the video, this place looks like it could A, be underground, potentially it could be underground on another floor, and B, it's not really got many places for air in here. We've got the ventilation that you can see right at the top of the screen on the right hand side of the system start menu, but the rest of it, there's no windows, there isn't really any doors leading to the outside. We've got potentially 2 doors for that, definitely 1, and there just isn't a lot of place for oxygen to be spread around here, so the breathing down in this building is probably going to be a little bit hard and probably a little bit difficult as well. So my theory here is that if the ventilation system goes down, if the animatronic, hybrid, or salvage decides to destroy that part of it, perhaps you then have a time limit. Perhaps you have a time limit to finish off what you were doing. You have a time limit to restart the menu. You have a time limit to do something kind of like the marionette system. Remember how in Five Nights at Freddy's 2 we had the marionette and we had to go and recharge the music box, and if we didn't do it in a certain time limit, marionette would kill us. Perhaps this is the same. If we don't restart the menu after ventilation has been knocked off into the error system, perhaps we then only have a limited amount of time to fix this problem, and if we don't, perhaps we suffocate, perhaps we pass out, perhaps we start to hallucinate. Perhaps this is when Golden Freddy appears, if we start to hallucinate because our oxygen to the brain is getting cut off. If you don't already know, no oxygen means no life. So ventilation is obviously going to be very important, and especially if it's going to be part of the 3 parts of the game mechanics. It's obviously a big game mechanic. We've got audio devices and camera system along with ventilation. Having these 3 in error obviously means you're in big doo-doo. So ventilation is got to be to do with the oxygen level in this place. Whether that means it's because of a toxic bar, which I'll talk about in just a second, or the fact that if the ventilation gets knocked off, then your oxygen will steadily go down and you will be in trouble. Now, so that's one theory. That's one theory, the oxygen theory, that you have a certain time limit, kind of like with the marionette and the musical box. If you don't fix a problem with them, then the oxygen levels will go to a dangerous low, and perhaps you start hallucinating or just black out, and then you're going to be stuffed inside a suit. The second thing is, if you remember back to Five Nights at Freddy's 2, there was a part of the game that wasn't used, which was the toxic meter. But if I remember correctly, it was actually put into the Five Nights at Freddy's 3 game. Now, fan game, this is not the official game. If we go and look at remember if you, the files that have been hacked from Five Nights at Freddy's 2, or whatever you call it, data mining, that kind of thing. If we have a look down the bottom of this screen here, you will see the toxic meter down here. Now, the toxic meter was when you put on one of these dirty old smelly masks, the Freddy mask, you pop that on your head, then you had a certain amount of time before you could take it off, so you couldn't just leave it on the whole time. The toxic meter would run down, and then you would, I don't know, you would choke, you would pass out, something like that, because it was a dirty old rank smelly mask. If you ever put some dirty old underwear on your head, then you'll know what I'm talking about. You'll know what I'm talking about. So that is another option. Perhaps the toxic meter is going to come back in this game, which suggests that perhaps ventilation could be the fact that you would put a Freddy mask on. Perhaps you would put a Freddy mask on and the toxic meter would go down and you'd be in trouble. The reason I'm less inclined to believe this one is because you've got the ventilation error on the computer. That doesn't really suggest you're wearing a dirty old pair of Freddy eye masks on your head. I don't think that would work. But it's interesting, it's really interesting what the ventilation could do. It does suggest to me that these, if it gets knocked off, you're going to have a limited amount of time to fix that error. Audio devices, if that gets knocked off, you're probably going to be okay. Camera system, again, if that gets knocked off, you're probably not in any real danger. But if ventilation gets knocked off, you're going to need air. So I think it's going to be imperative part of the gameplay to make sure ventilation stays online. You're gonna need that oxygen, and you're gonna need to survive without that error. So that's what I think. And hopefully you guys come up with some cool ideas as well. I love reading all of your speculation and your theory on what this might be. But the ventilation system is got to be, I reckon it's something to do with perhaps there is a toxic bar. Perhaps if you incorporate them both in, actually, not the Freddy mask. But look at this place. It doesn't look particularly great. Perhaps it produces a lot of carbon monoxide in this building, and they're purifying it. Perhaps you're purifying the chemicals that are in the air. The place is run down. Look how bad it is. It's run down. There's wires everywhere. This might be just an effect, but if you've got smoke going through the building, you've got carbon monoxide going through the building, these are health and safety issues. So you're going to have to ventilate that. You're going to have to pump all the bad gases out the building and then pump the oxygen back in, making sure that the air is nice and clean. So if the ventilation system gets taken down there, then you're going to be left with a lot of carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide. You're going to be left with a lot of poisonous gases about the air, which is going to slow you down. Maybe that slows you down. Maybe it means that the screen flashes. Perhaps you start to hallucinate then. Maybe Golden Freddy will appear, and maybe the marionette and stuff like that. But it'd be nice to see. It'd be nice to see what you guys think in the comment section below. I really think the ventilation is going to be a massive part of this game. And it'll be really interesting to see what happens. But either way, guys, let me know what you think of these theories in the comment section below. Drop your own theories of what ventilation could be as well, and because I just love reading them. But either way, hit that like button if you've enjoyed today's video. I've been Razbowski, you've been the beautiful bastards, as always, for watching, and I love each and every single one of you. Goodbye!